We're moving right along with the board meeting. I'm covering these board meetings much more in depth than I did in the past. I'm examining every word and posting it for future reference. In this clip, they're going to have an emergency resolution for the Trimet Fair Inspectors to have examination of your cell phone in order to verify a Trimet ticket. Interesting thing about this cell phone app is one of the Trimet cronies. What's her name? Young, not, is it Young? A woman who left the public, I forgot what she was in government or something. What the hell was her name? I can't think of it offhand, but the woman went from she was brought in by Fred. She was a crony of Fred's at the DEQ, and he took a bunch of his cronies with him, which is how things work in Oregon apparently, and brought her to Trimet since he knew she'd be reliable for him. And one thing executives don't like is anybody who's not loyal. What the hell is it? Young, something, I don't know, I'm getting old. Carolyn Young. I knew it was Young. But anyway, she jumped from Trimet so she could be a partner in this global Sherpa thing. Now, that's a great example of the revolving door of government and private enterprise, where people who are in the government will jump over to a private contractor to reap tons of money off a public contract. Happens all the time. It's very common. They have the inside information. They've given these contractors government money, and now the contractor repays these people by giving them jobs. In this case, she's got a percentage of the total. And by the way, these cell phone applications have been around for a long time, especially in Europe. It's not invented by Trimet or Global Sherpa. They didn't invent it. They're portraying it as usual. They're doing their usual media distortion, which is they do in everything, pretending that they've come up with this. It's been out there. Nobody's bothered to use it. Trimet is one of the first transit districts that's starting to use it. Dallas is using it. New Jersey Transit's using it. Carolyn Young, conflict of interest, but nobody cares about that in Oregon, apparently. The major media doesn't. Nobody bothered to cover that Fred hired all of his cronies without any interviews or anything. Nobody covered it except for my blog, which is not news, right? That's how they say it. By the way, Trimet deleted one of my Facebook comments. I'm the only one that they delete over there. They allow free speech for everyone but me. I understand, Trimet. I'm your version of Snowden, a complete traitor to your cause. So you have to keep me from getting any publicity whatsoever. You notice they've never mentioned my name anymore. Never. Not even they have this $20 million lawsuit looking at them in the face. Not a word to the board. Joe Rose hasn't covered it either, so the only one that covered it was Michael Anderson. Mainstream media doesn't want Trimet to look bad. Anyway, so Neil's going to talk about an emergency resolution here for this. And then they put forth the argument that 50% of fares will be paid, or at least 50% will be paid by cell phone. That's probably true for regular riders. They still need a decent cash-paying system. Do they have to reinvent the wheel for $30 million? Of course not. This is just another example of the executives who are attached to their poor projects with this complicit board of puppets. And at the end of this, you'll see Neil make one of his stupid jokes.
The last item on our business meeting today is an ordinance, and correct me if I'm wrong, General Counsel, we're going to have the first and second reading of this ordinance today because we have an emergency clause on this ordinance.
There's only one reading.
There's only one reading, thank you, okay. One reading.
I won't read it twice.
Won't read it twice. No, actually, I want you to read it twice. No.
I know I want to read it twice.
But the intent is we'll when we're done, we'll have a roll call vote, and that the ordinance will become effective immediately upon its passage. So with that, General Counsel.
Thank you. So ordinance number 330 of the Tri-County Metropolitan Transportation District of Oregon, Trimet, amending Trimet Code Chapter 29, regulations governing proof of fare payment and declaring an emergency.
Thank you. Is there a staff report on this item also?
There is, and I'd love to provide just a few comments.
Thank
I would say that the long and short of this ordinance is to bring our code in compliance with the digital age that we live in. So what Trimet Code, Chapter 29 establishes that proof of fare payment regulations for the enforcement of our fare system throughout the system. And those are the codes that our fare enforcers and the police actually use to make sure that our system is enforced. Today's ordinance incorporates proof of fare payment provisions through the use of mobile tickets purchased through Trimet's new mobile ticketing application. The emergency ordinance reflects a tight timeline because we would like to introduce and roll out this mobile ticketing application later in August. To use the mobile ticketing application, users would download the free mobile ticketing application for smartphones and then enter a credit or debit card, and then users may purchase tickets and then demonstrate them on our system. But to use the mobile ticket, the user will have to tap on their phone to activate the fare and show the image on their phone as proof of fare payment. And just like other Trimet tickets and passes, the mobile ticket displays what we call a expiration time and date, and what we call the day code, which is a unique code that is generated every day. And there are additional security features in this application. So, for example, digital animation that prevents just copying a copy of the screen to another phone. So the screen actually moves. And there's interactive features to prevent replicating a ticket by recording the animation, so you can change the animation over time. There's a flashing expiration date, and there's also a barcode that can be scanned by the fare inspector to make sure that it's a valid ticket. So Ordinance 330 amends Trimet Code's proof of fare payment provisions to require mobile ticket users to exhibit proof of fare payment by showing the digital fare on their phone. Second, by activating the security features of the mobile ticketing application on the phone, should they be asked to do that by the fare inspector, and to permit fare security barcode scanning of their phone by authorized personnel. Just to note, we're making final tweaks to the mobile app. It has gone successfully through its testing phase with a whole series of test subjects. But in order to have the Trimet Code up to date with this new fare mechanism, we're asking for the ordinance for the board to declare an emergency so that this will actually take effect upon adoption. Mr. President, that concludes my remarks. If I were faster on my smartphone, I'd be demonstrating this as I go along, but unfortunately, I'm not under 30.